in a minute, we will recollect some of the things that we. So we saw in the initial discussions and deliberated on it that when we say parenting, it is not just about the child alone, it is also about us. And that is the fundamental of the relationship. It's not one-sided, it is two-sided. So as long as we are able to think that and respect the child with that individuality, immediately we can start seeing results. So that is the first thing that we saw. And some of the topics that we will be covering is the next one, how we saw. In fact, today we will try to see we are in the second section, challenges of current environment in children's development, and how to influence behavior, how to deal with the child and child the body is something which we will see now. Now in that, the dimensions of the child is the most important thing. There we saw that the concept of who the child is. So while we all understand and think from a perspective of the body, the more important aspect is that it's a soul. You can say sometimes it's like this. You are now talking about a house, and if you are going to be talking from the perspective of a owner, let's say you are thinking and talking like a owner, and actually you are the tenant. Now, the foundation in which you are speaking itself is different, right? For example, you are thinking of selling the house and getting a 5 crore rupee and things like that. But then when the person actually gets to discuss more to find out, where is the title, he says, no, I am not the owner, I am only a tenant. Then the entire foundation in which you are trying to sell the house is incorrect, correct? Now that is the problem when we deal with in this concept of only looking at it as a body, because that's only a temporary phase. That's something which is residing inside is the main thing, and our dealing with that particular the energy should be having these two understanding, that it is not just this body, it is something else inside that body. And when you understand that, then you also understand naturally the journey of that energy from previous times also, not starting from my womb or as a father or mother. It doesn't start there. Then the dimensions are completely different. How we coach something thinking this is just a beginning, to you are teaching someone thinking I am a first standard boy, but actually you realize that's a 10th standard boy. You see the gap? You should be dealing with that thing like it's a 10th standard boy, whoever, when you're talking. But if you don't have that understanding, thinking this is just a first standard student, then there is absolutely no connect. So that Jiva could have progressed in his previous life, his own experiences, whatever, and he or she is thinking a lot from that experience. Maybe he or she does not remember that, but he is bringing that vasanas, what we call it. And therefore, if you are not able to understand that aspect of it, there is going to be a major gap. Sometimes it so happens, I may be less evolved than my son or a daughter. Have we seen, sometimes in material things we can experience this. Sometimes your son or daughter may come up with something which is so brilliant, which you think, why I did not think like this? I don't think I can cope up with this child. How many times materially? Like, sometimes we come, this revelation happens. Wow, this child is too much. I think I am dealing with a different animal. I need to be careful. Now, the same thing, you understand also from different perspective of that child's experience elsewhere also. So this is different. We need to understand and give room for that movement for that child. Maybe you may still want to influence, but first acknowledge. If someone is telling you, no, as you keep talking, right, many times you say something, the person says, no. Now, how do you now get to a platform where you can talk? Because every time you start saying something, that other guy is going, no, what will you do? Now, in that situation, first thing is, you should say, yes, I see your point. We see this everywhere, right? In your dealing with your neighbor, in your office, you are stuck with a wall. What do? You start saying the other, yeah. So the first thing to say is, yes, I see your point. Immediately the person stops saying this, no, 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 no. Yeah, now you understand, he will say. His next move, then you get to understand whatever he's saying, then you put in your perspective, he or she is little more receptive to you. The same thing with the child. If you go and say this is what it is, but he or she is coming from a different perspective altogether, try to listen and understand where is that child coming from. Is it about just downloading what I wanted to say? But is there a perspective which the child has which I receive? And then the child now becomes, oh, she is listening to me. Now there is a discussion. Then maybe you may prevail over the child to put in your thoughts, and he or she may accept, yes, Amma, it is right. But if you are right in the beginning, not allowing that conversation to happen, we are in trouble. And this is building up. It's not about one instance, right? Any relationship. First, if you and the husband and wife is married, everything is hanky-dory. Few days. But after that, it keeps building up. One thing, the husband did not listen to the wife, or one thing, the wife does not listen to the husband. They had a different view. Then that settles down. One by one, it bottles up, and then one day it blows up. Any relationship, in office, with our neighbors, sometimes we say something, they don't care. Okay, chalo, we take it lightly. But second time it happens, we say, no, this is a habit of this guy. I don't think we should respect this guy. So it may not explicitly be told to them, but you can see that the body language slowly shifting away, and one day it will blow up. Now, why is a child different when it comes to that? Why do we take it for granted? So we should, therefore, the ability of the parent to tune into what the child is saying, look at its perspective, and then from there comes important. And how will you get that approach is because you should understand the child is not just this beginning, it has got something more. How will you respect? When generally respect comes when you value a person that he or she has something. But our mind is child is a small thing. It doesn't have experience. It doesn't know. But the minute you know, no, this is not just the starting of 2020 or 23 or whatever the child's birth year, then your relating to that body is different. You give respect and take respect. Of course, you are still the parent. You can still influence. But the platform from which we try to do that should be slightly different. That is important. Therefore, that's the first thing. And the second thing is understand that every child has its different flavors, which we call gunas spiritually. And this understanding is very fundamental to know how to deal with the child. A child with a particular character behaves in a particular way. A child with another character behaves in a particular way. Another one. So this is universal. Now, if you don't acknowledge that, and if you want every child to behave the same way, there's a problem. So that, okay, you understand, yes, there's no good or right or wrong here. One child may be sattvic, one child may be rajasic. But you can't say, no, this rajasic is not okay, that is not right. Okay, that's philosophical, but that's not what you have to deal with. You understand this side has a rajasic frame of mind. So your approach to the child should be going in that direction and then moderating it from there to bring it to that, whichever flavor you want it to come to. Otherwise, it will not again meet the connection will not happen with that child. Understand, and maybe the child will flourish in that guna more. The simple example is today people are talking about that. Today if you go outside of this class and ask for parents, they will say, no, first need you understand the nature of your child. Why are you pushing your child to study this group? The child wants to do something else. He wants to become a player, cricket player, badminton player. You please put that child in that school because they have better facilities for that. Today principals do an interview, try to understand the child's nature and say, no, you are pushing the child is actually has some other interest. Why don't you change it? The idea is to bring the best out of the child. The child nature is so and so, and he can do better in that. But if you push it into something else, that's a problem. This is the same thing with these gunas. A cat has to be a cat. You can't make a cat into a horse. right? But a cat also has a lot of value. So bring the best out of the cat. Don't try to make it into a rat. This is very common sense. But as parents, we only think my child is an extension of me. I wanted to do these things, and I failed, or I wanted to go that extra, I did not do. Now I want to know, make my child do that. Sometimes my failures, I expect my child to achieve. Hey, you failed, how you expect your child to achieve this? We never think. No? How much mark you got when you were in 5th standard? I don't want to show my report card. But I expect my child to become 100 every time. Right? So, I'm not saying therefore we should not aspire for better things for our children. But be realistic. You understand where the child is. And encourage according to that. You don't only look at your neighbor's son and keep comparing. That child is a different background, is a different karma. He will do. There are also other children who are doing much worse than your child. No? So life always equals out at some point in time. So we should not be thinking only this one. But help, yes, you have a potential, but if you are not doing to that potential, that is where I come in as a parent. If you see that potential is there in the child, but he is performing to 50% of his potential, you jack it up to 100%. But if that child has, for a particular job, only 50% ability, you can't make it 100% beyond a point. To get him to 50% itself is a big thing. And if you do it, you are fantastic. But we are not satisfied. We are looking at the next house child who's like 150% genius, and we want to compare with that child. Why? And you are putting down your child big time. So we ourselves personally have so many of such experiences in our life. How we have been dealt with wrongly by our parents. And we are the product of that. So that is important. So I spent a lot of time in these two things, because at the end of the day, this is the platform. I can give you so many techniques and all that which everybody can Google, YouTube, so many videos are there. But they never talk about what I have spoken much. Because the platform itself is not there, but you are artificially trying to do things, sorry. But if you know this and do that also, maybe you will get better results. Right? That's important. So I gave good examples from the scriptures of how this body and the person traveling in the body, which is the child whom we think is the body, is not the body, is a soul. Many verses were there which we discussed. So this is the philosophy portion of it. I don't want to again read these verses. This is a nice one. As a person puts on new garment, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. So my child is also one such thing. Now, that is philosophy. This further, I wanted to substantiate it with scientific proof. That is what we saw. This particular videos, which I will not go through. But these are videos which we saw. These were people from the Western world, right? You saw them, and they are researching into the subject, and there was this one research which actually identified the movement of that energy from one body to another body. They traced it. That we saw. So that is proof to say your child is not produced in your womb. Body is produced in your womb. Since everybody is women here, so I'm saying that, right? And as a father, you gave your energy also. But the child was not produced then. That body was produced then, but that child is coming from elsewhere. That is important. That was proved here technically also with that very wonderful example. And you can also check for similar examples. Many are there. I took one sample only. So we will move forward. Then for the gunas also, we had one other video which also talked about this research of how two persons are completely different. Even everything else is same. Their behavior is different. And we all know there is something called a DNA. They talked about the DNA, but there is something beyond the DNA also, is what they were talking about. Earlier we were saying the DNA defines everything. The DNA is imprinted about your entire program. Software program is already written in the DNA, so you behave like that. But two people with the same similar set of environment, same parents, same everything, then why is the software program different? So that was discussed, and there they established that gunas is the one which is driving their behavior. So it's important to understand the nature, sattva, tamo and rajo, and accordingly pitch it. So this we saw. There also we saw specific references both spiritually and also through video. Then we saw this section, the challenges in bringing up children in today's world. We saw this very, very relevant for everyone. This is what we are seeing all around us all the time. So all the more important this parenting in today's context. Earlier, if you see, there used to be every house has 15 children and 5-6 would have died. Parents keep moving on. They don't keep on thinking about, oh, this is gone, okay, that's gone, let me take care of these two. And those also, they will just be left to fend for themselves. They grow, right? If you see many of our grandparents, many of them became very great personalities also. Though parenting was done, right? Nobody bothered to give them this parenting seminars or anything like that. They were doing their things. But today, the problem is the world is so much connected. Most of the time, I have no influence. Everybody else has influence on my child. Right? Just like this phone. We don't even know what's happening to the child. So many people are hijacking my child's brain. Sometimes the body also. I am thinking, I am fully in control of my child's life. But actually, 5,000 people are controlling our child's life. This is happening in real time today. Therefore, we need to be aware and more addressing this issue. So, we saw many of these things here. I will skip to the next section, which is because of these effects on the environment, what happens? Behavioral consequences. This we did not see. We are going to see today only. So there is huge behavioral consequences which our child are exposed to, or rather, because of those circumstances, what we saw earlier slide, there is more influence on our child, and the behavior of the child will be driven by these earlier slides activities. Let's see some of them. So what is this? Yes. So the whole world is only looking at a paper. So your entire value system is defined by money is honey. That is how it is. Like money is honey. So that means your value systems now will be defined by how successful you are in making that paper. And now it is not even in paper, right? It is all in UPI and things like that. I see we don't get 50 rupees are not there, 20 rupees are not there, 10 rupees are not there. I went to banks, there's some requirement for me, I went. Bank said, no, we don't have any 50 rupee, no 20 rupee, no this one. Maybe 100 rupee and maybe 500 rupees, over. So even this paper is becoming obsolete now. But then the philosophy of that is, success is only this material attainment. So just imagine if your child is actually coming into this mode, that is when you see these people become big, very big, in terms of that success, but don't know to handle themselves. How many IAS officer now, recently, Supreme Court judge got with piles of money. Now what value system? So is it only that paper which is more important? What about his so much name and fame that he gained up to this point in time? It is shameful for that family to even go out of the house, to call a Supreme Court judge giving judgment, putting so many people behind bars, right? Even maybe you would have written death sentence for some people. How true would that judgment have been? How biased he would have been in those decisions, because this money is making the talking, not his value system. I don't know what that happened there really. But still, that is fact, and people have said, he's suspended and so many things are happening. So that will take another 25 years to solve. But that's not the point. But the question is, why do you find money in a judge's house unaccounted? Correct? Then, these children, all of us know this, tied only, no physical activity, it is all the time tied to their gadgets happening today. They don't know how to discriminate between good and bad. I am running very fast. This is a good one. I would have expected. Actually asked, what do you think about this slide? This particular slide.
The second one is the dog is tied to the pole, the person is tied to the pole.
Yes. To your gadget. Right now I am also tied to this. Right, I can move further. I said, you better put the power for my laptop. So this is our life now. The third one. What do you make of this slide?
Like backstab.
Backstabbing. That is fine. We all get backstabbed. But what is the pathetic situation here?
Like person whom we love, he's the person who is.
But we don't know that. See, he's been stabbed by this person, but he is going to him only for counseling. This is what I talked about. Children exposed to internet. What is that? Facebooks and Instagrams, where they are developing friends across the other side, and they are actually harming this child. The child doesn't know. He is hiding that from you and your husband, the child, because he thinks that guy is better than my parents. And how many children have got into this trap? So we don't know to discriminate what is good and what is bad, because children are afraid to approach us. They want to lead their secret life because they think this is someone who's a police for me. I naturally now, the minute I see you as a police, I want to hide from you, because I also know I am doing something not up to the mark. So that gap keeps on increasing between the parents and the child. And every time we get angry because of that, the child gets even more disturbed. You should understand that this last section, which is the body of the child. That is another problem. They are not at your maturity level in the head. Correct? You may want them to understand everything in the world, but their body development is another stage. So they see you as a big problem. And hey, this is such a silly thing. Why are you so obsessed with this? But for them, that is their life and soul. Many a thing, you may say, what is the silly thing? Why are you doing like this? For him, what? This is my life and soul and you are calling this silly? See, I mean, particularly when you talk about these, teenagers, their life is all about that. For them, this is their life. And many children commit suicide, run away from their home because they say, this is my life and my parents are a problem for me. And I don't think I can do anything else in life. I would rather commit suicide. I will run away from home. I have seen the statistics of these things. How many children run out and get caught in the railway stations? Police. They are found in Maharashtra. They are found in Gujarat. Where did you come? No, I came from here. No ticket, nothing. Why? My parents did this to me, so I want to get away from them. This human trafficking happens majorly because of this kind of runaway children. We are not even seeing our kind of middle class family. We don't see the reality. This is the tip of the iceberg. You go and research, check your records of how many children every day leave their home without parents telling. It goes into lakhs, hundreds and thousands of children missing. And you don't know where the child is now. Who all have access to that child? Very dangerous situation. The child lands up, right? It's going on the train somewhere, night it gets down somewhere. Now who knows who's accessing that child? How they are messing up with the child's life. You see many children on the signals doing beggar thing. They are not the children of those guys who are actually making them do this. Most of them are actually this kind of people who have run away. They have picked them up and they have brainwashed them. They are using them. These children, maybe parents doing nice somewhere, but from some other state. Who knows, in this signal that child is there, the parents sitting in Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, I don't know where. This is happening, reality. Of course, in our families, this doesn't happen, but we can't live in a imaginary world, right? We don't know what is happening behind. Better to know about these things, understand the child's need, good, bad, ugly, that you don't right now judge. Sometimes children may be into some ugly things. That's okay. First, understand. Don't immediately start abusing them. Because a child is a child. Understand where they are coming from. Don't accuse them. Get into the psycho of why they are into this, what is so important for them there, then how you can actually work on their brain to take them out. Sometimes we may need professional help. Sometimes we may need professional help. Don't worry about that. Right? Now, I may not be the right person to deal with such a situation. But you should be aware such situation can happen, and don't think how can it happen to my child. I wish something like that doesn't happen to any of our children. But we should be aware. Right? And how you deal with that is important. Once you come across some odd events in their life, something is happening, you see they are guilty of something, be very professional in dealing with that situation. Don't wear the cap of a parent and a very strict mother and father, this is what you have, what ill came to me, my family, this, that. No. Do you want your child or your honor? Of course, honor is important, but then how do we bring the child back into track? That is more important. Similar to that, this is more specific to phone. This thing about, this picture, these are all value systems, right? How children become very insensitive to so many things happening around them. Like, you go to some schools I have seen, the children are feeling guilty that, I am coming in a Wagoner, my friend is coming in a Mercedes Benz. I know of such cases. Parents say, I don't know why I put this child in the school. Now her confidence is going down because we have only a Swift or whatever, Wagoner, and her friends come in a BMW. Huh? No, so the thing is, people want to flaunt their wealth. And for them, the child psycho is that flaunting of wealth is important. And so it's artificial way of living. They are getting into that kind of a mode. And they feel guilty that I am not having that flaunting ability. The money or the power or whatever it is. But value systems is important. It doesn't matter. I may be studying much, your child may be studying much better than that child. But why you don't have that? You means that child doesn't have that confidence. I am better than this guy. He is only looking at his social status and not looking at his ability as a much more intellectual person than that boy or girl. That is where the parents have to come into the play and say, this is the value system. I don't care. I may wear torn clothes if I don't have, but I will still be confident. Because I am what I am inside, not outside. How many of us are able to instill that thing in our children? First, many a times we ourselves feel guilty. Right? But this is more important than that one. That person is just spoiling the child. I know of a film director in my times, very, very famous film director. His son was my classmate. If he wants, he could come in a BMW or whatever, that time. But he will come in a bicycle. And he will tell me, hey, I can't talk much, Ram. My father will say this phone bill is so high. He will look very simple because his father wanted to instill, you are not born with a silver spoon. That is my success. You go by cycle. That's a big thing. I am giving you a cycle, no? You should be happy with that. Don't think about that. But I have seen other rowdy elements coming in big, big cars to college. This guy will come and cycle. And he used to be very traditional in the way because his father was very clear. That is my success. You build your success. And today that guy is also big. He's a chartered accountant. He's a CEO of a company and all that. But the question is, the value system that the father builds in the child is important. The mother builds in the child is important. The other fellows like this, now it may be good, but when they grow up, they can't stand it. They are a big failure in their life. So as parents, we need to build it now, not later. Where is the poor? I will keep on going. This is little, You can relate to these things, at least see these pictures for a couple of seconds. You will understand. This is what simple things. Can anyone relate to this? This particular man and a woman sitting in a park bench nicely. Huh? They are together but not together. Right? He is just, see, this is happening in our house every day. How many times you keep calling your child and the child does not even respond and you know what is happening. And many times it happens with us. So I am also so busy with my phone. My wife is calling, Vidra mother, I don't care. Where this is started from that time, I don't care. I don't give value to the relationship. And when I do that, how can I expect my child not do that? We are the example. We are the heroes for our children. Right? Children learn only from you first. If something is wrong with the child, first to question yourself. Why did I give this, this example to my child? Because first, this is a psychology. Every child, for that child, the mother and father is the first hero. So if I lie in somewhere and then in home, elsewhere I act like a very pure soul. Child knows, you rascal, you are like this, I know you about you. He won't say that. But he will say, this is okay, this is how I also have to behave. In somewhere else when that happens and you yourself say, how is he behaving like this? You only taught it here. So these things are important. We need to be mindful. So sometimes, we may not be perfect, but at least in front of the child, behave properly. That is very difficult, but then, fighting between husband and wife, can we postpone till they go to school? I mean, I'm not saying we should fight, but I'm saying these things are very sensitive matters we should be mindful about. The child is seeing daily this husband-wife fighting. Oh, I need to also fight with my wife. So you already planted how his future is going to be. That is how I will get dominance. See how my mother is dominating my father by shouting. So I will also start shouting to get dominance. It will happen. So, because of the psychological and social consequences of this, today's reality, WhatsApp status comes to rescue for the people who can't express their feelings directly. Have you seen such things? You see a WhatsApp status of someone putting, even now I am seeing, if I check my phone, I have 4 or 5 messaging there in the WhatsApp. Then I know something has happened there. And when I talk to them, I know, what happened, looks like you are in, yes, this happened. Why you have to put it up in this WhatsApp? Why can't you talk to that person directly? They don't want to do this. But our children also, sometimes you should check these things to know what's happening in their life. Don't say, no, I don't want to, I don't like to go to internet and all. No, because your child is there, you also have to be there. Go and check their history, check what's happening. If there are some messages like that, try to understand what is the cause of that. There is something which is amazing. Lots of friends on Facebook, no best friend. This one is very nice. I will be okay, just not today. This is living in denial. I am in trouble today, but I don't want to accept my problem state. If I am in trouble, I should reach out for help. But if I am overconfident, I will handle. You will push yourself to your brink where there is no return. Children could get into that status. They may not tell you, I am in trouble. I will be okay, not today. Right? The child is just thinking, speculating in its own head. But there is something drastically happening inside the child's mind. So, can you identify these signs in your child's behavior? Then how do we lend a hand to the child? How do we go around talking about it without talking about it? How do we spend more time with the child to bring that out of that situation? First, to reveal that itself is a problem. They will not tell you what it is. Don't get frightened though. Okay, I'm not making everyone frightened, but these things happen. And if we are not ready to look at this, we may get into trouble later. If you are aware, great. That's all I'm saying. Be aware of such things. This is fine. So this statistics is saying there are so much of mental illness which is because of these kind of behavioral consequences. Actually today, I don't want to get, my eyes are poor to read the statistics. There are so many million have mental sickness, this, that, and so many things are there. You can Google and find out. But these are all facts. These are all published data, not my own data. Published data of saying, and these are all children, if you can say teenagers, like these kind of things. So there are these problems, and unless we, as a very understanding parent, develop that friendly relationship with them, operate at their level, not at your level. You may be a CEO of a company or you may be a very mature lady, that's fine. But you have to get down to the level of the child in your mental wavelength and talk to them in that level. Not put up a big thing, oh, I am a very sincere senior man, how can I talk to you like this? How can I come down and talk very loosely and all that? But you may have to do those things at times. So this is more like, I don't care that they stole my idea, I care that they don't have any of their own. So the idea here is, you see, most, it applies to everyone, including children. They try to ape what others do. Which means I don't have a originality. That's why I don't care that they stole my idea. That means if your child wants to do what the other person does, that's okay. But the problem there is, why you don't have any interest on your own? Why you are following someone else like this, right from the haircut? Correct? Virat Kohli does one haircut, every child wants to do this. One actor does something, they want to do like that. So why you have no originality on your own? That mentality is there today. And if your child is one among the sheep, no use. Is it not? They should have their originality. Let him create the trend. Not that he follows every other common man. I need to charter a path for myself. Are you able to develop that self-esteem in that child? Because this is the common trend, no? Everybody wants to do this, simply follow whatever others are doing. Whether you have an interest or not, you want to have it like that. Because that man is having, this man is having, this girl is having. Put every child, that child is studying in computer science, you also study in computer science. They are trying for IIT, you also try for IIT. But IPL is giving you 15 crore, 25 crore, 26 crore for 60 days. Now every child wants to become a cricketer. Every mother wants to put the child in cricketer. Now that business is growing. But see what your child's capacity is and then put it. Let it be a simple thing which does not get a lot of money. That's okay. The child is happy, he will survive. You got that point here? So these statistics are all there. And this is all about suicides, suicide rates. And if you see this red color is more suicides happening. You see China and look at India. More suicide rates are there. Even in America, this is less red. It's orange. India is full red. More suicides. And this is all for teenage statistics, not old people suicides. IITians committing suicide, right? How many times you see such things? So very intellectual, very intelligent, very smart. But why you can't handle a situation? Why you are thinking of committing suicide? But it is happening in India. Look at Australia. Look at Africa, blissful. No suicide only there, I think. And look at these places. These Arab countries, I think, full white. A sad state of affairs for India. This is all sudden. Here, look at during COVID times, the number of suicides increased like anything, I believe. Anyway, so next, how to influence behavior. This is what I said. The scriptural says, whatever actions a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Yadyad acharati shreshtar. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he set by exemplary acts, all the world pursue. So, you need to lead by example. Not be the follower of that thing. Generally, you can follow good examples, not bad examples. So, there are many aspects here, like, the positive sides, the how to, these things are there, but now it's sort of forgotten. These are the very basics. How to deal with elders, how be positive. I can't make it. I can. And how do we respect equality? Whatever gender equality. Like I talked about this BMW car versus Swift car, right? Those things are not matter. So how do you develop those values in your children? What the social status, what do you call this, caste and all these things. How does that matter? So these things are very important, that as parents, first we set good examples and we also inculcate good behavior in the children. We have to be conscious about doing these things. Many a times we go to some house and we see the child just doing so many nonsense and we are very proud of it. They are just talking and then this child is not allowing anybody to talk. He wants to keep on saying so many things. And parents encourage that. Yeah, see how he's nicely talking. No, he's a brat. These things are, and we take this as a pride. Many a times we see where class is going on, the child will be doing unnecessary, so many things. Parents are blissful, not here. So Prabhupada used to say, can the mother please take the child out and go? Prabhupada will stop the class and say, mother and father, you please take the child out and go. You don't know how to keep your child in control. Is there? But Prabhupada gives most importance to the child. I talked to you earlier. First session I talked to you about that. Don't even come to the temple if you have a very small child. Your job is to take care of the child. That is your only job. That is serving Krishna. Very clear, yes. Oh, I have to do service, all this external. Reality is, make a good devotee of the child. So, like this, there are justice, fairness. So these things are something that we need to be ethics, morals, honors. I talked about, right? Judge having money in his, unaccounted money in his thing, honor. Ethics, these are important than just that qualification or whatever. Once these are there, the other things will certainly come to the extent required, and he or she will still be able to be happy with whatever he gets. Given his capacity, he is doing his best, and he will be happy with that. But this guy, even though he is in a very big position, he is still not happy. That is why he is taking all this money in black and saying to see how I will save this money. All unnecessary tension in his head. So it's not about how much you have, how happy you are with what you have. The values are very important. And how not to influence behavior. First the philosophy, then we will see some videos. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-endeavoring sinful enemy of this world. That means, the more and more we are trying to be materialistic, or we inculcate such value systems in our children, the more trouble we are going to face, the more trouble the child is going to face. Very, very clear. Kama eva krodha yesha rajo guna samudbhavaha mahabhavo mahapapma vidutye nam miham virinam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with material modes of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-endeavoring sinful enemy of this world. So don't think materialistic propensity to drive the child to be completely materialistic is the only success formula. Actually, that is the biggest opposite. It will be the biggest failure formula for the child. But develop the overall value system. Yes, money is also important. But not that money, matter, car, bungalow, that is not the only thing. These are required also. We are not saying don't have that. But if your value system is more based on hook or hook, I will get that. That's a problem. And generally we also have this feeling, oh, I suffered in my young age, my parents didn't give, I want my child to do this, I want. All of us have such mindsets, right? You know, I came in bicycle, my son should go at least in scooter. But now we say, I went in bicycle, I want my son to go in BMW. Now it's too much. Anyway. So again, lot of this, no, we should not be an example. You see here, the fellow is walking over other people, this one. And when he sees that, he will also walk over other people, right? He is just putting, this man is using this man as a bridge. And how many times we exploit people in our life? I want to get my thing done, I trample over another person. I don't care about that person's sensitivity. My son and daughter seeing this, they will also do the same thing. We need to be mindful. This having two faces, Hare Krishna, right? He put on different faces at different times. But child is seeing only one face, our real face, what we are. Child is very intelligent, more intelligent than us. I act like this, now I go and act like this in my home. The child is saying, oh, I know you. And I also know how to behave. And to us, he will show two faces. To his friend one face, to us another face. And we will get cheated. And he is better at that game than me. More problem. Like many examples I'm giving, I'm running out of time. See here all exploitation of labor. Here father is smoking with the child on. And then you preach to the child, oh, your health is very important, you should not smoke. Hey, what are you talking? You don't know what you are talking. This about is gender equality, so many things. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. First, I should know what is my weakness. That is the biggest knowledge. But if I am living in a imaginary world where I think I know everything about my child, I am in problem. I should know I don't know much. I need to invest my time and effort in my child. That means you are going to be successful. If you think I already know everything about my child like that, then we are ignorant. To knowledge means reality. I don't know. If you accept that, that is knowledge. Correct? If you really don't know, accept I don't know. Then you are going to do something about it. Then that knowledge is value. But if you are thinking, I know everything, I can handle, I am okay, then that is in a false platform. So that's a problem. Now let's do how to deal with the child. One, Prabhu, can we connect quickly? Types of parenting and good correction techniques. What mode I should have when correcting the child. Some videos we will see. Signs of bad parenting and how it can, all maybe 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes kind of a video, but very powerful ones. Bluetooth. Are you? This one, no?
two kinds of care in family. One is called authoritative care. Authoritative care where they have certain discipline, at the same time they respect the child's needs also, and have values that it works out both. The majority of parents are authoritative. So I have told you a story last year. Maybe daughters like that. Now, the authoritative parents are most of them. That's why you find that very difficult. Even if they say this, open the door, that's not the right way. I always have family learning from the opposite side as well. Authoritative parents will rarely take that space correctly. They do not even speak for themselves. And they just do whatever. Maybe they do think they are very disciplined. But honestly, this is still even the decision-making stage. Authoritative parents have certain set rules which have been made, which should be consistently done. If you believe in your culture or something which is not acceptable, please have that consistently. Not that today, everything really is that there is something to think to the right, there is always one time. Authoritative parents for me apologize to the person going on child but I don't do so that you are not the child really comes to know that there are other ways my way that I really listen to the same time I have to myself. The third very committed to this. I have to understand. The child is allowed to do anything and everything. You want to drop them, you can. You want to pull them, you can. You can slap something, you can. If there's a beautiful work in there, you have never taught them anything. And the last is absolutely non-reactive. From what may not be able to show, I think those parents will be quite good to be present. But nothing to let them. Here, neither parents nor I will go to have really, very because at least the authoritative commitment is not from there. That's the one that absolutely non-reactive. They know themselves. So your style of parenting is very
So effectively what they are saying is the type of parenting. There is authoritative parenting, then there is the other one which is the other side, very liberal parenting, and the third is not even bothered about whatever the child does, let it do. Everything has its own values. An authoritative parent is also successful. But you cannot be wearing the same hat all the time. I think that authoritative, what they are saying is you draw the boundaries, and when that boundary is met, you show that consistently this is not on. The child gets the... So it's not like one time it's okay, another time it's not okay. Very confusing to the child. You know, when you set a rule, that rule should be met. Next time you touch that thing, same thing I will tell you. Not today it's okay, tomorrow not okay, no. You see, the child mind should be given consistent messaging. If it is no today, it is no tomorrow also. They understand this is a no-go area for me. But if you keep flip-flopping according to your convenience, then that's a problem. The other one is be free, let them do whatever. Many parents say, no, let them learn, let them learn. Sorry, because the brain is not developed that level. Third one is, I don't care whatever is happening, let them do whatever they want. That's the three types of parenting. Time is up. Time is up. Okay, now what do we do? 5 minutes. Okay, one more we will see.
One is called authoritative parenting. Authoritative parenting.
We finish this. Good, correct techniques.
Another thing is not really asking that I use my temper and I get to be Now that is happening. Mothers who have kids right from the age of 2 till whatever teenage age. So though here the question is not about how to manage the kid, it's more about how does the mother manage the temper or how how does she control herself in that moment that she shouldn't be with it? Or is being with it fine? I don't know. It just goes up that. And of course, after meeting the kid, the mother feels so guilty. She can take a show, my people will not trust me again. So it's an entire circle. Other experience.
So the answer actually is very simple. Very simple. If you ever go inside a kitchen and if you put sugar in your mouth, what kind of taste will it say? Sweet. And if you put salt inside your mouth, similarly, the greatness of any relationship becomes what to expect.
Krishna is favorable.
Let me give you examples.
I'm so sorry understanding this said.
Do you ever have a sugar in your hand and say, I want you to taste that salt? How many times have I told you? Put it inside your mouth and it is not tasting that salt. How do you behave? You drink that. Similarly, the child, he will give birth. Now we have grown the child. So let's say 2 years old. That's the smallest school. From 2 years old child, I'm not saying what do you want. I'm saying what should you expect? What do you expect from you? If you expect a 2-year-old child to live in the majority or a 20-year-old child, will the child ever be able to do it? You understand what I'm saying?
I definitely understand what you're saying, right? But we have these, because why I'm asking this first question, because a lot of ladies don't keep messaging and asking us this, and they are making stuff the room. मैंने बहुत ट्राई कर चुकी हूँ, बिल्कुल आता ही नहीं है, बिल्कुल सुनता ही नहीं है, वो बच्चों मारता है, ट्राई नहीं करता है, मैं बोल तो थक गई हूँ. After that level, still what next? After वो एक mother, because we are talking about how to understand the child. I am actually convinced of what all the mothers say, moving after, I don't know, I'm just, I don't know if you're trying to understand what I'm saying.
So I completely understand. So I'll give you answer in a few parts. Part number one is know what to expect from.
Okay, agreed. Different age groups, हर बच्चे अपने वे में react करेंगे, so we need to understand कि हम उनसे कितना expect कर सकते हैं.
6 साल का बच्चा है, they will not be potty trained. They will do suso the bed probably 3 times that night when you are ordered them to do. But what do you expect from a 6-year-old? You go to Registan, you go to Rajasthan in the month of May, you won't carry your sweater with you. There will be a there's no what to expect from her. There is part number one, very crucial. So if I go to a company and ask for chai, will I expect the cutlery of a Taj? No. They are quality enjoy attending to chai. Because I know what to expect from there. This is a sign of immense maturity and a simple solution to people. Our expectations go to match what can be given by them. And that is why all this frustration happens. So this is one part of the list. Let me give you another part which probably the mothers will like. On this they have to work a little. I was with about 1,000 Jawans in Hyderabad a few days ago. And we were having a very beautiful session. To cut a long story short, one point that we made over there, for which I got a kind of a standing ovation from the others. Learn how to feel good about yourself. Learn how to feel good about yourself. There may be 10 things which is not okay in your life. If Sonia comes to know me personally, she will find 10 things which is not good in her. Areas of improvement. And Sonia tells me those 10 things. Then I get 88. In everything that Sonia tells me, increases my irritation. Why is she only seeing what is not okay in me? But that irritation, probability will come on us. So there is a mother-in-law who, let's say, creates pressure on the child and the child goes to the daughter. The mother-in-law puts some pressure on the daughter-in-law and the daughter-in-law gets irritated. The husband does not give quality time and the wife gets irritated. The children left behind the important things at school and the mother gets irritated. Behind this irritation, there is a very subtle subconscious thinking called, did I not do what I was supposed to do? Your mind won't understand this, but that is how the subconscious works. To counter this, there is only one method. Find out what is good about it. So Sonia can have the good quality of finding good in people. So all she needs to do is call Priya and tell Priya, Priya, that photography that you did that day was just too good. And she says that in about 30 seconds. And in 30 seconds, the good inside her gets very solid, powerful and manifested. And then when she talks to a child, she is not an irritated or a frustrated mother. She is a mother who is feeling good about herself, who is talking to the child, and the way she talks to the child will be very good. So when you understand that frustrations are happening, you are losing control over your emotion. You are about to go a little wild. Before you relate to your child, deal with the child, interact with the child, please do something by which you feel good about yourself. It can be putting on the shade of lipstick which is okay. It can be taking the drawers out and just touching all the jewelry you have. It can be just going to your shoe rack and finding 3-4 shoes which you like, putting them on, walking 10 steps and coming back. But my appeal to all ladies, find ways by which you feel very good about yourself to help the world. That will move you into the right frame of mind, out of which anything that you will do.
और अगर थप्पड़ लगा ले तो लगा दे रूप नहीं देती
children? I mean, you're talking about you beating the children?
I'm saying in case
A mother
has hit the kid.
हाँ.
ठीक है अभी हो गया है कुछ
हाँ.
एक्सेप्ट किया मैंने उसके बाद how to come out of that guilt?
Ask the child, Beta, what I did was not right. So I want to repent. Tell me what should I do?
I'm sure all kids will be happy कि चलो मम्मा केक बनाते हैं या मूवी जाते हैं शॉपिंग जाते हैं and that moment will dissolve and that memory can fade off. So I think that's a very nice one that can be done.
And you will also know whether you want to repeat that repentance or not. Therefore you indicate the reason.
So I'm so really liking this session today. There's so much as mothers, as parents that we need to know. And one thing from my end, though I'm not a parenting guru or something, but I always tell my husband that whenever something happens in the house, you and I have to be the same team. We cannot be in opposite teams when the kid is asking for something. नहीं तो बच्चे को अच्छे से पता है कि हाँ पापा तो हाँ बोलते हैं मम्मी ना बोलती है फिर पापा ही अच्छे हैं पापा से ही हाँ बोलते so always what I tell all my friends also that the husband and wife as parents have to be in the same team to train and make the kid a better
Absolutely. Completely agree.
So we move on to our next question now because we've spoken a lot about this. I think there was one question about how to have bonding time with the kids. So we've got a lot of in depth about how to do it already. You've spoken about. Is there anything else that you want to add? Because aaj ke zamane mein a lot of parents that me and my kid don't have a very great bond, especially in the adult age. Teenagers kind of. कि हम बहुत अच्छा बॉन्ड नहीं कर पाते हैं मेरे बच्चे की थिंकिंग अलग है हमारी थिंकिंग अलग है हम कुछ और एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं बच्चा कुछ और चाहता है so all that kind of any special tips that you would like to do on bonding with the kids.
Okay, so this is about what mood I should have while correcting my child. I think the audio, I don't know how many, but the essence is like this. If your mood is, I just want the child to do what I want to do, then you are not going to correct the child. Right? So you need to, that's why I was giving that example, right? You take a sugar and eat it, how would you expect it? It will be sugar. Now you eat salt, how it will be salt. You can't say the sugar you should become like salt, how it is possible. The same thing when we come, you can't expect a child to just behave what you want the child to do. So when you want to correct, that opposing mood should not be there. That I want this and I expect you to do this. So you have to come to a platform where when you say it makes sense to the child. It's not just that, I'm telling you have to do. You have to come to a point where how it is good for you. I am saying this because in your interest. There's a difference. But that we have processed in our head. The child does not understand that. I am saying study now. Why I am saying that is in your interest. But does the child understand it from that perspective? Because he only sees my anger face and my irritation, all that. So the question is, how do you go and put this across to your child? And second example is, how confident are you when you're talking, like, here the situation of this mother going through something with the mother-in-law, then that whole frustration comes on the child. And that is not the mood in which you talk to the child. When we talk to the child, whatever we say, it should be inspirational. The child should feel welcome to see that discussion with them rather than, oh yes, come now. Teenager, we will see that gap. The minute you go and say something, they do something else. Many children tell us, Amma, you don't know. Right? Or Appa, you don't know. Right? See, you have to understand where they are coming from. And that's when you are able to be with that confidence to talk about that subject matter, then they will listen to you. But if you are yourself apologetic or if you are trying to be frustrated while talking to them, why do you expect them to listen to you? Just because I am your father? We can do that for my own ego satisfaction. It's not going to work. So the mood in which you correct is important. That's the point we are saying. It's not about just, I have to correct come what may know. How do you do that? You have to spend a lot of thinking on how do I do that. For one child something will work, another child that will not work. Again, guna. I gave the same example. How do you say a same thing to one child? One child saying the same thing in a Rajoguna, he will take it differently. The same thing to a child in a Sattva-guna, he will be very happy. Thank you very much, Ma, he will tell you. The other fellow will get very agitated when you said the same thing. So, you should know what should be my mood in correcting what that child is. It's not about simply correcting. How do I do that? What should be my mindset when I talk to them? And how do I put it across to the child is very important. He gave quite a few examples. Sometimes these things are, I know, I told you, right? Nothing that you don't know. You know all these things. But come, you just walk out and there is a situation, we will behave the same way. So this is for us to think through, why it is there in front of me, why I have not been applying that in my life. And as we are conscious, second time, third time, you will try to be better at that. But this session is about making us aware to be conscious in our dealings, not be unconscious or subconscious or lacking sensitivity or consciousness. That's all. But be aware. What you sow, you will reap. If you go with a bad mood when you are correcting, you get a bad correcting situation for the child, which means he is not going to get corrected. But if you are positive about it, you will see some positive movement from the child as well. You see? Don't expect immediately overnight things should change. There is also some backtracking which needs to be done. Because so far I have dealt in a wrong way, so it takes the child to come to that confidence level, it will take him some time. Today I learned this, I am going to be very nice to the child. But he knows, no, yesterday you were so like this, how can I trust you? The child will not immediately change. No, I was very nice to the child, you told like that, but the child did not, because you have done so much earlier, the child also has intelligence. He will say, oh, there is some trick in my mother's behavior today. But he sees that consistency in your approach, he will start opening up. You should be very consistent in that correcting technique. So that is then sign of bad parenting and how it can affect a child.
Remember to subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell icon to never miss an update for first by Thursday.
consistent parenting style is important. Can someone read this? Someone read this? See, I may not think my behavior towards the child is wrong, but the child may see it that way. I need to be consistent that I don't do such things. Okay, I'm coming to the last slide. I mean, each one of those things actually we can actually dwell deeper, take more examples. In fact, I was sometime thinking if I have a good audience, we will actually do a role play. I will give a situation, you act as child, you act as parent. Let us see where it goes. And if you apply certain techniques, how it changes. Right, anyway, yeah, so I mean, see, these things are practical experiences, right? We have a session where the child can behave differently, how the child deals with that. So we can practice these things. But anyway, so here the child, the body is also important, right? You know, that means what I was saying, see, there are, while I am saying the soul is very wise, you know, it is coming, taking a lot of experience and coming, and therefore, you know, give a lot of respect, all that is fine. But understand that soul is still inside a machine which has got certain capacity only. The brain capacity for that soul is small now, given the body. The machine with which the child processes that thing is small because the brain is not that much developed. So you have to also mind from the body perspective. So that's why you cannot say treat a child the same way when he is 2-year-old, 5-year-old, 8-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old. According to the change in the child's body, you need to change your way of approaching the child. Teenage, they say no. In Shastras, they say till 5-year-old you should be very strict. After that, you know, you can be little this one. And when the child is in this, a teenage, you should become a friend, no more a father or a mother. Come down to that level in their way. Otherwise, you cannot deal with that. There are many, sayings also in different languages. But Shastra, like these, many Prabhupada used to quote some of these things. Like for a child, particularly a boy child up to 5, you should be very strict. And after that, how you behave, and after that, how you behave, and all that. So like that, so the body is important. There are many different age group, developmental milestones, emotional, social changes. Right? Because a girl acts differently, a boy acts differently. And one question which Mataji asked, one of the devotees here asked, what is the difference between a girl child and a boy child? How do I deal? Understand that these two are different bodies. A girl child, actually, this is nothing to do with what is good or bad. This is how you are wired. Understand this. A girl is something which is more mental. A man or a boy is more physical. So if you have to talk about something to a girl child, it may take a long time discussing that. They may go beating around, talking many things around that, not exactly coming to the point. You may see that gap even in our family things. You know, you go and tell, they will not be straight to the point. They will tell 4 or 5 things and then come to that point, and you will get irritated. What did I ask you? Why are you talking all these things? But you understand that is how a female body is wired. So you should adjust that one. So when a girl child will be expressive, talking many things to tell you a small thing. Don't get immediately, irritated. I am not having time. You see your brother, he tells it like this and goes away. A boy is wired like that. He is straight to the point. And he does not want dilly-dallying. So men find it very difficult. When they talk to men, directly they tell the matter. Women, she will tell so many stories and then tell that story. Why are you not talking to the point, we will say. But that is how they are wired. So a girl child will be more animated, lot of drama around it. So be it, no. Don't immediately curb that. Then they will feel insecure. Oh, my mother is curbing my expression. You see, it's a psychological thing which gets into that. Prashadam came. Okay, I'm done now. Then there are so many things like, the positive parental tips. You can go and check it out. How we can be positive in the way. And child safety we already touched upon, right? Talking about the internet and so many things. Safety in other aspects also, right? And the last one is health is very important. You need to care for your child's. Some child has certain food which is good, some children don't. If you really now look at it and go back and say, for my child, I know what is good food, what is bad food. Most of us give only junk food. My child always asks for this chips. Here, chips sells very well, I was told. They only want this junk food. We are happy giving them junk food. Anyway, I stop here. This you can explore. But understand there is a concept called body and we need to get into it. If there is more interest, we can do more sessions. So I am leaving it open, but I am finishing these sessions here. Anyway, we are all there. Anything more, if there is more people, we can do something more. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.